Hey everybody, I'm trying something new. I tried a new intro video today. I hope you liked it. If you did, please let me know down below. Close your eyes for a minute. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a cliff, holding a box labeled "All My Regrets." Now imagine opening it and finding it empty. That weight you've been carrying, it was never real. We come back to this image later, but because it holds the key to unlocking self-forgiveness. But first, we need to talk about why you've been clinging to pain like it's the last proof you mattered. This video is about suicidal thoughts, just being in that frame of mind. So, when people talk about hitting rock bottom, this isn't that. This is when you look around and realize there's no one there to help you up. Not because they all left, but because you never let them near you in the first place. That silence isn't just empty, it echoes back every wrong turn, every sharp word, every time you push someone away before they could see you falter. The quiet wraps around you like a mirror showing every crack in your foundation. And the worst part, you built this room yourself, board by board, with all the reasons you don't deserve better. Picture waking up in a hospital bed. No flowers on a table, no chair pulled beside you. Just the steady beep of machines reminding you you're still breathing. That's loneliness. But that's not the kind you hear about. It's not about being physically alone. It's standing in a crowd and feeling like no one would notice if you slipped under. Like your name on their lips would just be another afterthought at best. Research says loneliness is about isolation. It's about feeling unsupported, even when people are around. Here's the twist. The ache isn't from emptiness, feeling unsupported. It's from the story you've been telling yourself about why the emptiness is justified. You don't hurt because no one cares. You hurt because you believe they shouldn't. You'll know you're trapped here when the thought, no one would care if I died, stopped sounding like a fear and starts sounding like a simple fact. Like the sky being blue or grass being green. Well, that's not rock bottom. That's you staring at your own hands and realizing how much they've been holding you down. The moment you stop waiting for rescue is the moment you realize something else. This hollowed out feeling isn't where you end. It's where you start digging up. Because let me tell you, I've been there more times than I can count. This one time, I drive tractor trailer sometimes. I don't do it all the time. I've retired like 8 times in my life. Okay, this is the most recent. I'm trying to find another way of being, a way to see my daughter grow up. But when you're driving tractor trailer, you're isolated from the world and people for the most part. And one day, when I first started my business, started a logistics company, and I was about 3 days into sitting at a truck stop because as a truck driver, your success is dictated by the person sitting in an office like 1,000 miles away that has no care about whether or not you can feed your family for the day or for the week or for the month. Why would they care? You're just a person. You're just a number that they have to talk to every day, But I was 3 days into sitting in a truck stop, waiting for a load and being told I couldn't move. I realized this is the worst thing in my life. I just had a brand new business and I couldn't do a thing. It's not freedom. That's not freedom. And I felt like killing myself. And I had been on the road for like a year at that point. I didn't go home. Didn't go home for nothing. Didn't go home to see anybody. I had no reason to, but this is that feeling. I don't know how many people experience this. I don't know how many are going to. I don't know if I was the only one that ever experienced it. I'm sure I'm not, because my father killed himself, so I imagine he was feeling something pretty similar. I had a great uncle that killed himself after he returned from World War II. So this is something that is dear to me, and I've scripted it. I do tend to go off script when something hits that personal muscle. So, I'm sorry. So, here's the lie you've been clinging to. Here's the thing about pain. You don't cling to it because it's true. You cling to it because it's the last thing that makes you feel real. Like if you let go of the hurt, you'll vanish completely. That's what loneliness thinking does. It's a loop where the more you isolate, the more you believe you're meant to be alone. And I almost said training there. And that's true too, because when you're in that frame of mind, you are training yourself. You are training yourself. And the more you believe it, the deeper you crawl into yourself. Picture a dog with a broken leg. It doesn't whimper for help, bares its teeth at anyone who comes near it, convinced every hand reaching out will hurt it worse. That's how isolation works. You start treating kindness like a threat because you forgot how to trust it. The irony, the people who try to get close to you don't see you as broken. They see you, but you can't hear them over the story you're telling yourself. The one where you're too damaged to deserve them. Health experts call loneliness a natural response to life shifts, not a flaw in your character. It's not proof you're defective. It's proof you're alive. Everyone feels it at some point. But not everyone mistakes it for a life sentence. The difference isn't the pain. It's what you do with it. Breaking the cycle that starts with one realization. You weren't built for this. Not the isolation. Not the self-loathing. Not the way you've turned your ribs into a cage. You think the void is your punishment, but it's really just gravity. The weight pulling you down isn't there to crush you. It's there to show you where the ground is. That's where you plant your feet. So here's the first step. Stop believing the lie that you belong there. This is under the lowest point you've ever been in your life. This is where suicide is an afterthought. You've already committed to it. It's going down. I've been there many times in my life. At least 8 that I can think of. Most of it was me. Once you start letting people, like a wife, you get a wife and kids, they can throw you into that too. Not meaning to, but, shit happens. Life happens. Uh, the moment you stop treating it like a sentence is the moment you realize you've been standing on solid ground all along. The way out isn't through someone else's forgiveness. It's through your own. But first, you've got to admit you've been lying to yourself. The truth isn't that you're unworthy. It's that you've been acting like you are. And that's the habit, not a fate. You aren't unworthy. You cannot shovel your way out of a hole with the same damn shovel you used to dig it. That's why you keep slipping back in. Self-forgiveness isn't some fluffy concept. It's a crowbar that you've been refusing to use because it feels like cheating. Like if you stop punishing yourself, you're letting yourself off easy. But here's the kicker. That punishment isn't justice. Isn't the trap keeping you stuck. Picture a runner with a sack of bricks strapped to their back. They're sweating, grinding, wondering why they can't keep up, never realizing the problem isn't their legs. It's the weight they won't put down. That's what unforgiveness does. It makes you think the struggle is the path when it's actually the obstacle. Brain scans show forgiveness dulls the amygdala's panic signals, part of you that keeps flashing danger signs like a broken smoke alarm. It's not about forgetting what happened. It's about stopping the alarm so you can think straight. The resistance comes because forgiveness feels like surrender. Like if you stop raging at yourself, you're saying what you did was okay, but that's backwards. Holding on doesn't prove you're sorry. It just proves you're still letting those old mistakes dictate your present. Think of it like keeping a rotten apple in your fridge. You don't honor the fruit by letting it stink up your fridge. In fact, this is a game I like to play. Where's that smell coming from? You know? Oh, yeah. You honor the fruit by composting it or something so something new can grow. Every minute spent asking, why was I such an idiot, is the minute stolen from asking, what do I do next? That's the shift. You're not wiping the slate clean, you're picking up the chalk. Maybe you messed up. Maybe life gutted you. Either way, the only payment left is the one you keep demanding from yourself. And that's been paid 10 times over by now. This isn't about your past. That's the twist. Forgiving yourself isn't something you do for the person you were. It's for the person you're becoming. The version of you that's still stuck back there, endlessly replaying the tape. They don't need your anger anymore. They need your hands pulling them forward. Because here's the truth. No one tells you you can't hate yourself into a better life. You can only build one. And that starts when you finally trade the shovel for a ladder. Climb up out that pit. The moment you stop begging the past for answers is the moment you realize you weren't meant to live there. Forgiveness isn't the end of the road. It's the first real step. Not because you've earned it, because you're done wasting time punishing yourself for being human. The rocks in your pack, you can leave them right there. Nobody's keeping score but you. And you now have a new tool. You need to put this frame of mind in somewhere in here and leave it there for a rainy day, just in case you need it. Because if you ever get to this point again, if you ever get to that point where you're feeling suicidal, if you ever get to that point where you're below rock bottom, stand up. Stand up and ask yourself, why am I here? Why am I in this place? Do some self-discovery. Go down to it. Why am I in this place? Why am I in this place of longing? Why am I in this place of regret? Why am I in this place? Why do I have so much weight on me right now? Why can I not feel that I have to change? Because you are at a crossroad. You will change, or it will break you. If you are at this place that I'm talking about, I've been there before, not in the too distant past. So this isn't something that is a possible future. This is something. It's not a if. It's a when. I hope not. I hope not. I hope no one else has to go through what I've been through. I hope no one. But honestly, I can't see a way out of it except for this. Forgive yourself for circumstances that got you there. Accept responsibility for where you are. Accept responsibility for why you were there. If it was your responsibility, it might have been somebody else's. But if it was, why did you follow them? Why did you listen to them? So there's some aspect of this that put you there. Figure it out and then forgive yourself. That's how you get out. That's the ladder. That's your avenue of escape. But it's not really an escape. It is, but it isn't. Because from that point on, you may not go back to it. And if you do, you're going to have tools to get out again and again and again and again. So, this is just life. You weren't meant to live there. Forgiveness isn't the end of the road. It's the first real step. Not because you earned it, because you've done wasting time. Yeah, you have to become your own rescue. No one's coming to save you. And that's the best damn news you'll ever get. Because heroes are for fairy tales. And you're living in a real world now where only hands strong enough to pull you up are the ones at the ends of your own arms. I'm not crying for myself. I'm crying because I know some of you are going to have to go through what I've went through. For that, I'm sorry. I'm trying to make it as easy for you as possible, giving you the tools. All of these videos are giving you tools of some sort. You will get a tool of some sort from each of these videos. And you build your toolboxes so that when the time comes, you'll be ready. Waiting for rescue isn't patience. It's just another way to avoid getting your hands dirty. Picture standing in a downpour, staring at the horizon, waiting for someone to show up with an umbrella. Meanwhile, there's a dry doorway 3 steps away. That's what self-abandonment looks like. Choosing the illusion of a savior over the reality of your own 2 feet. Health experts say rebuilding starts with small, practical steps. Not because they're easy, because they're yours. Here's the twist. You don't need saving. You're not some damsel on the tracks. You're the only one who's been laying on the railroad this whole time. Every morning, you got out of bed when it felt impossible. Every night, you didn't drown in a bottle of your pills or whatever you use to numb the noise. Those weren't accidents. Those were choices. And they proved something brutal and beautiful. You've already been saving yourself. You just didn't call it that. Maybe that's the mistake that still haunts you at 3 a.m. Maybe that's the years you've wasted waiting for an apology that never came. Then light a match. Watch the edges curl black. That's not destruction. It's release. The fire won't fix everything, but it'll prove one thing. You're done carrying what no longer serves you. Now walk away. The box can stay empty. It's all up to you. I hope this helps somebody, because for some of us, that time of need is quickly approaching. Make a list right now of every storm you've weathered. The job loss, the betrayal, the nights you thought you'd shatter. Look at that list. Those aren't scars. They're recipes. Proof you're stronger than the shit life threw at you. The reason it hurts now isn't because you're weak. It's because you're finally done pretending you are. This isn't about positive thinking. It's about power. The kind that comes from knowing you've survived everything that was supposed to break you. The kind that lets you stare at the next uphill climb and say, let's go. Not because you're fearless, because you know fear isn't the boss of you anymore. Courage isn't some grand gesture. It's the accumulation of thousands of small refusals to quit, to numb, to keep waiting for permission. The world doesn't give out medals for showing up on your own life, but it does give you something better. The quiet satisfaction of knowing you didn't need one. So here's the truth that you've been avoiding. You've always been the hero. You just forgot because no one clapped when you saved yourself. But heroes don't fight for applause. They fight because it's right. And what's more right than fighting for yourself? Stop waiting for the night. Stop hoping for the rope. The door's unlocked. The choice is yours. You just need to walk through it. So the box at the cliff's edge was always empty. The weight you've been carrying, you put it there. Forgiveness isn't some grand finale. It's the first real step towards the life you've been pretending you don't deserve. Here's how you start. Grab a scrap of paper, write down one thing, just one. You're ready to stop punishing yourself for.